Greetings everybody and welcome to Madrid Ball. Hope you all are safe and sound. Today in this video, we have got some news updates regarding Valverde and Benzema. We will also talk about how Toni Kroos slammed UEFA and FIFA for the ways they are treating their players, and thus we have a lot on our plate, and let's get started. As you guys know, it's the international break going on, and it would be fair to say, after the performance we put up, we needed the break. And not just us, the players also had a grueling schedule of fixtures. In the past month, we had one fixture after another, which were tough games, and we needed good results in those matches. Hence, the room for rotation was less, many of our players were unavailable as well, and although we did see a few rotations, it was very noticeable that the players were in desperate need of a break to get some rest, recharge their batteries, and get ready for another decisive month. Next up, we have Villarreal, the Yellow Submarine. We know they are no pushovers. Currently, they are second in La Liga. And then we have a very crucial encounter away from home against Inter Milan. That would be one match that we definitely have to keep an eye on. But coming back to the international break, there are players like Mendy, Marcelo who have not been called up, so they would be looking to make the most out of this. But a number of our stars have been called up for their respective national teams, which include Ramos, Varane, Kroos, Madrids, Vinicius, Jovic, and Odegaard. Just on a side note, Sergio Ramos played the closing stages of Spain's clash with Netherlands to move on to 176 international caps. This moves him level with Gianluigi Buffon as the European player with most appearances ever for his national side. That is a great feat and a great accomplishment for Sergio Ramos, and we all are very proud of our captain. Wish him most success in the future. But coming back, earlier they only used to be the international friendlies and the qualifiers, and it wasn't much big of a deal to sit out the friendlies even though the players were a part of the squad. But now with the Nations League going on side by side with the European and World Cup qualifiers, the teams tend to put their best players in the lineup, and our top players like Ramos, Kroos, Modric, etc., they just have to play these matches in order to ensure the respective nations progress from their groups, and hence this added demand from the national team has become tedious for the players, and in the end the international break just takes a toll on the physical conditions of our players. That is where we see a number of the players complaining about it, and the latest player who has slammed UEFA and FIFA is our very own midfield maestro Toni Kroos. Kroos has criticized the Nations League and plans for the European Super League and the expanded Club World Cup. Speaking on a podcast, Kroos said, "Unfortunately, players don't decide these things. If there was a players' union, we wouldn't play tournaments like the Nations League or play the Super Copa in Saudi Arabia. At the end of the day, when these new competitions are invented, we are just puppets of FIFA and UEFA. They are meant to make as much money as possible to suck everything out of every player physically. I'm a big fan of leaving things as they are when they are going well. The leagues are the top products already, together with the Champions League and the World Cup." Kroos here was critical of the ongoing plans for European Super League in place of the Champions League. For those who do not know much about the European Super League, I will elaborate a bit on how it would work. This competition would include the top teams from the Premier League, La Liga, Serie A, the Bundesliga, and the French League, and would not feature any promotion or relegation. So what we will see is 3 or 4 top clubs who historically performed well in their respective competitions come together to start a new league in place of the Champions League. For example, we will see Manchester United, Chelsea, Liverpool, and Manchester City from the Premier League, and then from La Liga we will have Real Madrid, Barcelona, Atletico. From Germany we will have Bayern, Dortmund, etc., and so on and so forth. The top teams from each league will come together to play this competition, in which there will be 16 to 18 competitors, and each team will play a home and away fixture against the rest of the teams in the Super League. Now obviously the top clubs are going to root for it because there will be a big match every alternate match day, and then they will be able to bring in more crowd, which would equate to more money. But this system of no promotion and relegation will ensure that only the big clubs who have historically done well will continue to thrive, continue to make the money, and the rest of the teams in the respective leagues will not have a bite at the cherry. And to an extent, we will see the stagnation of the rest of the teams in the league. We may not see another team like Leicester City, who miraculously won the Premier League a few years ago. Thus, we will be taking away the motivation of these little lower ranked clubs to perform well and do better in order to get a chance to play at the highest level. But let's have a look from the perspective of a Real Madrid player. Firstly, they will have to play in the 38 La Liga matches, then in the Copa del Rey, add to that the European Super League, in which we are expecting at least 34 matches, and then of course there are the matches in the Nations League, World Cup qualifiers and European qualifiers. Now the question is, how can you possibly expect the players to play close to 80 matches in a season? Currently, they only play somewhere close to 60 matches for the clubs in a season, but with the new format, there will be 80 to 85 matches a year, which will take a heavy toll on the players. How are the players supposed to stay fit when you ask them to participate in so many high-profile matches? Definitely, we see this idea attracts a lot of criticism, and here Toni Kroos has said, from a sporting point of view, it would be interesting because we'd only play top games, but the gap between the big and small clubs would grow even more. Everything doesn't always have to be more faster and more money. So those are the words of the German. Here I would like to know, what are your perspective on the European Super League? On one hand, we are going to get a big match every week to get ready for, but on the other, we may see the quality of leagues dip because there will be no motivation for the mid-table teams to improve and challenge the top teams, as there will be no promotion or relegation in the European Super League. Adding to that, it will take a heavy toll on the fitness of our players as the number of the matches will increase. Do let me know your thoughts on this topic. But moving on to the injury updates. Firstly, coming to Federico Valverde, Real Madrid in their official statement stated he has been diagnosed with a fracture in the posterior tibial bone in his right leg. His recovery will continue to be assessed. Now the good news is that it's not a major fracture, but still it is expected that he will be out for a month, and that is a very major blow for our side. Out of the things that are going well for Real Madrid at the moment, Valverde certainly is one of them. The energy that he brings, the defensive work that he does, and also the goals that he has scored this season, these attributes have made him a very important figure for us this season, and it would be interesting to see how Real Madrid cope up without him. Zidane does have another headache, and we will talk about how Zidane will deal with the loss of Valverde in the upcoming matches in another video that I will be preparing for you all. And now moving on to another player who had to limp off the pitch in the match against Valencia, it's Karim Benzema. Benzema had picked up a groin injury in the previous match, and after that, further tests were conducted to make a proper assessment, and as per the reports from the Spanish press, Benzema's injury is not so severe and he is expected to return to face Villarreal after the international break, and that is such a relief for us. After making a slow start to the season, Benzema has scored in the past 4 matches going into the international break, with his goals coming against Mönchengladbach, Huesca, Inter and Valencia. So certainly he looks to be in fine goal scoring form at the moment, and it's vital for us that he continues to stay in the same goal scoring touch for the very important month of football ahead of us. Now that is all we have in this video. There are rumors regarding Cristiano leaving Juventus next season, and nothing is concrete yet. It may be fake news as well, but in the days to come, in one of the videos, just for the sake of entertainment, we will talk about the prospect of having Cristiano Ronaldo again at the Santiago Bernabeu. I have plenty more videos planned for you all in the days to come. We will discuss Zidane, Carvajal and the goal drought of Asensio, so stay tuned to my channel. I would be very keen to know your thoughts regarding the topics that I have discussed in this video. I will see you soon. Till then, take care, and as always, Hala Madrid. Yeah.